Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 1828 Project. I'm your host, Brandon Ward of the We Mentality, and today we're bringing to you another member of our community who is creating Black history in LV. Man, I got a great guest today. I'm looking forward to bringing him to you. I met this guy over at the Rotary Club one day, and he just stood out. A great conversation. He embraced me, told me where to sit, told me the people I need to talk to, and I loved it, man. Great welcoming. Well, let me tell you a little more, my guy. So we're here to celebrate and honor the achievements and the contributions of Black individuals who are making a positive impact in their communities. Today we have a guest with us by the name of Nathan Atkins. He is a combat Army veteran with 25 years of experience. He's also in B2B sales and sales leadership. Nathan is now an entrepreneur in the health and wellness space, working to educate and empower the community to improve their quality of life through natural care. He is also a husband, a father, and an active community participant, serving on the board of Veterans Life Service in Las Vegas WON Rotary Club, as well as a member of the Vegas Chamber Military Affairs Committee. I would like to welcome and introduce to you Nathan Atkins. Welcome, Nathan. How you doing today, brother?
How you doing today, brother? It's good to see you again.
Definitely.
How's everything?
I'm kind of wild on your bio. It's doing good, man. It's doing good. I know I went a little bit wild on your bio, and I was a little bit more detailed than usual, but I really want to give people an opportunity to get to know you for who you are, personally and professionally. And then I want to also cover a little bit about your vision on how we're going to move forward in Las Vegas, and then how you plan on doing that within entrepreneurship, leadership, within your organizations, and then also your business. How that sound?
Sounds wonderful. Look forward to it. Let's chat about it.
All right. How your day going, man? We've been having crazy weather out here. We had snow one day. Today I was freezing. How you holding up in this cold?
Man, I came out the gym yesterday, sleep. I was like, is this Vegas? So it's been wild, but today's been okay. It was cold this morning. It kind of tamped down a little bit, so we might be headed towards sunnier days.
Yeah, that wind pick up, man. It ain't no telling what it's gonna feel like. So Nate, I want to give these people an opportunity to get to know you, like I said. So other than what I said within your bio and your intro, who is Nathan Atkins?
Just a simple cat, man. I joined the military out of high school because I really didn't want to go to college. Actually, it's kind of a misnomer. Back in the 80s, cats were joining to get the college money, joining because we were going through a lot of things. The Rust Belt, for those that may or may not understand, there was a lot of jobs lost through places like Ohio, Pittsburgh, Detroit. There are a lot of jobs lost down in West Texas, Louisiana, when the oil bust happened. So these cats were all trying to get second opportunities. And then, a goofy cat like me from Chicago came in and was just like, yeah, I didn't really want to go to college. I wanted to see something different. So it was a great experience, man. I tell you, I encourage young people, if they don't have a path or a focus, the military can be a great space for them. Mentorship helps, though, so they have a little bit of guidance, and luck on the other end. I got lucky. My first duty assignment was in Europe. I got a chance to travel throughout Europe. I went to Christmas, Amsterdam, Paris, New Year's, skied down on the Italian Alps, met a lot of folks, did a lot of things, had a lot of fun. I'm still trying to figure out how a young man with no money in his pocket had as much fun as he had. Today, I got a couple more dollars in my pocket and can't have near the amount of fun I had when I was young. So it was a great time.
In Vegas too, huh?
In Vegas now, so.
So let's talk about your journey to Vegas. What brought you to Vegas?
So my family moved out here in '94. My mother had always said, when she retired from her career job, she was going to come to Vegas and become a dealer, and that was going to be her retirement job. And we all were like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. But Vegas was always her vacation spot. She always liked Vegas. She was coming to Vegas, I think, since 72 or 73. And so her vacation was Vegas. She's been coming out here a long time. So in 94, she packed up, moved out here. My oldest brother packed up, moved out here. My niece and nephew, they were raised out here. My niece went to the Performing Arts School downtown, the Las Vegas school. My nephew played basketball here in town. I think he was at Bonanza when he scored like 40 points, but he went off to play for the Air Force Academy. So my family's been here for a minute. I was leaving a job and was purchasing a franchise, and I knew Vegas didn't have a location, and I had family here. So I moved out to Vegas in 2013 to open the first Orange Theory Fitness.
Oh, wow. In 2013, huh?
Yeah.
What month did you move out here in 2013?
February. So I came out here February 12th or 13th, right before Valentine's Day. So I have now officially hit my 10th year.
All right. All right. Well, then congratulations on your decade here in Vegas, man. Right. Definitely. So Nathan, many people probably seen your name, especially if they lived in North Las Vegas recently after going through the 2022 mayor campaign, right? I know you were on the ballot for that. You want to talk a little bit about that experience?
Sure. So that was a fabulous experience. A lot of folks, funny you say many people see my name. A lot of folks had no clue who I was. So they were like, who, what? No, does he? But when it was over, what I will say is this. I was proud to say I wanted to see some things done differently here. I got up off the couch, and instead of talking about it all the time and in back rooms and at barbecues, I decided to go be active about getting something done. And I ended up with a shoestring budget and very little staff and no name recognition. We pulled off just shy of 13% of the vote in the primary. So extremely proud of that type of showing, just on sheer effort and work. So it was definitely a good time, and yes, some people now know who my name is. They know a little more about me, and I'm glad that most of them seem to realize that I wasn't as bad of an idea as they thought. Right? They were kind of like, who is this guy? What makes him think? And then they kind of came around and they saw and they says, oh, okay, well, he's making sense. He's got good ideas. Don't know if he's the guy who should be our leader. Clearly, we picked a wonderful leader right now. So Ms. Pamela Gorin-Brown is going to do a fabulous job leading this city forward. And I'm excited to see what's next. As you can see when you drive around the city, a lot of the things she spoke about, right? She said it was coming, and it's coming. Buildings are going up every day. Businesses are going up every day. So real excited to see some of the things that are happening.
Shout out to Pamela Goins. We appreciate you. I would love to have you on the show. Somebody, I know somebody who's going to watch this and listen to this. They know her. Let her know I would love to have her on here. I might reach out to her myself.
Just reach out
Nathan,
to her. She's very approachable, by the way. Just reach out to her.
Definitely. So Nathan, what was one of your top lessons that you learned for running and taking on that process?
So my biggest lesson was everybody tells you money, raise money, get money, raise money, have money, raise money, get money. The conversation was around money. And I won't say they were wrong. Money is extremely important. My years in corporate taught me, though, creativity solves problems. Money just moves those solutions forward. I need a creative team, a dedicated team. I think having a stronger team, I definitely would have put 4 or 5 more points on the board. If I had a strong door knocking team, a strong calling team, and yes, money, you can buy people to do that work, right? And I shouldn't say buy people. You can hire people to do that work, but nothing's like people who are motivated to go out and knock doors for you and speak about your message. Nothing's like people who are motivated to get on the phone and make those calls, whether they get paid or not. And I think that was the thing that I've taken away from that experience is when I run again, I'll make sure that the groundwork I lay is about getting 7 to 12 people who I know are just as committed as me and as focused on the message and winning like I am. And I'm confident with the resources. You need resources, but having that strong advocacy on your team out there, making sure the message is getting heard. I think that's the biggest lesson I learned.
Yeah, with people, with networks brings even more resources. So you can imagine how much it would have made a difference in your campaign. And, I say let that be a lesson to everybody out there for anything that you plan on doing great. You're going to need a team, and you want to make sure you got the right team. And if you're looking to build the right team, I like the we mentality. But let's get on. We ain't here about Nathan today. So Nathan, what's something that many people may not know about you?
Wow, that's interesting. I'm a lover of fun. So I have a silly little Instagram thing called Brothers and Brunch. You'll see a lot of food posted because I like to eat and I like good food. I like good life. I smoke cigars. I drink, scotch, whiskey. Love wine. Like to travel. Just like to have fun. So I think people see me and interact with me usually in a professional way, and I'm always pretty straightforward, pretty conservative, pretty buttoned up. But the few people who really know me and get to know me well know I like to have a good time.
That's right. I love it, man. Good hearing you're a foodie. Because I was going to ask you to go out to lunch at the after this was over with. So
cool. Anytime. Hopefully, a good spot that I haven't been to.
Definitely. What does creating Black history in Las Vegas mean to you?
So, creating Black history in Las Vegas or anywhere for that matter is just about making a positive contribution to this country. I've been pretty clear with folks, right? When you talk about America, you're talking about Black people, right? We may believe that Black Americans aren't truly Americans, but that's not true. The fabric and foundation of this country was built on and by Black Americans. The first shot of the American Revolution killed the first sailor, Crispus Attucks, who was a Black man, right? We have been serving this country since the very, very beginning in many ways, whether it was in labor or whether it was in service or whether it was in government. So our story doesn't start at Ellis Island. Our story starts at the very origins of this country and continues to this day. Most Black Americans are multi-generational people. We have been here for 4, 5, 6, 7 generations. We didn't just get here yesterday. We've been here since the very beginning. So I think it's important that we continue to move the baton forward. Progress never happens as fast as we like. And we've been through a lot of challenges. But if you really pay attention to the challenges we've overcome, we've moved the baton forward through a lot of adversity, right? And we've moved that baton forward successfully. I know a lot of folk like to try to focus on the small percentage, right? Because it's easy to focus on that percentage. But if you step back and look at the bigger picture, we continue to be strong, positive contributors to this nation, and we will continue to be strong, positive contributors to this nation.
That's a beautiful answer, man. I love it. I definitely love it. I definitely want to commend you for your service, for what you've done. And you say it was 25 years in the military?
No. I only served 8.
Oh, 8 years. All right, 8 years.
Just 8 years. 25 years in corporate America, but no, 8 years. I didn't want to go to college, but I also didn't want to stay in the military either. I was like, these funds are a little tight. We ain't making no money over this spot.
thanks for your service. You know, that was about the same amount of years that Barack served his presidency. So, you know, that's a full term. That's a full term. So, speaking of the military, tell us about your military background and how that has influenced your entrepreneurial journey.
Sure. So I think the biggest thing, there's two things. First thing is military really teaches you how to work with as well as lead a variety of different personalities. And that is valuable beyond belief, right? You're meeting folks from Idaho, you're meeting folks from Georgia, you're meeting folks from Maine, you're meeting folks from Oklahoma, and you're working with these people, you're working for these people, you're leading these people. It is very interesting because especially when you go back to the 80s when I was in the service, there was no internet like today, right? We weren't dropping in DMs. There was no social media. Things moved very slowly. So everything was still very regionalized. When you met somebody who was from a certain part of the country, they had a different way of doing things. They had different foods and they had different companies and they had different music, right? I remember when I was a kid growing up, I would go down to Birmingham to see my grandmother and they'd be like, bring the Chicago music down when you come down, right? Things didn't move like they move today, right? We know what's happening in Korea within an instant. That wasn't the way it was. So you really got a chance to learn about different personalities and different ways of thinking and doing. And you have to get those folks moving in a direction. You have to get them rowing in a direction. Last thing I'll say, though, and an extremely important thing is attention to detail. Military teaches you an extreme attention to detail. I was fortunate enough to serve with some special organizations while I was in the military, and you learn to pay attention to your surroundings. You learn to pay attention to everything that's going on within the mission that you're trying to complete. And one of the things we always did was an after-action review. It was, what were we supposed to do? What did we do? What did we do well? What did we do that needed improvement? And then it was always, how can we do it better than next time? We always reviewed what we did. So attention to detail is a critical component to everything in life, whether it's your family, whether it's your business, whether it's your church, your service to the community. Attention to detail, that's a strong key to success in my opinion.
Yes, sir. I know many of my, it was crazy because one day I was sitting there and it was Veterans Day. And I'm like, let me send out my happy Veterans Day to everybody. I think you were on the list, but
I was on the list.
I'm sending them out to all my people. And I started realizing that majority of my clients and my partners are in the military, like everybody. I was just like, I never put that data and that dynamic together to realize that. And one thing I've learned about you guys that were in the military was the discipline. The discipline is amazing. When you have a plan and a vision, and then you got that discipline to execute that plan, you can't stop somebody that's in the military. Another thing is the grit. That whenever things get hard and tough get going, they always willing to persevere and make it through it. They're willing to pivot. Last thing that I'm so amazed with people who come from the military is the systems. Their ability to work in the system and then not do all the work, the ability to delegate as well, to put the necessary people around to where they don't have to do everything and that business can continuously run. And I know that when you just give somebody in the military, that's why I commend Shondell Newsom for his Boots to Business, being in that program. I don't know if you've ever been a part of that program. I think that'd be a great program for you to be a part of as well. But that Boots to Business is very good because you think of the normal entrepreneur who comes from the military. They don't learn the basics of business. They don't learn the philosophies of business, but they do have all of these skills and they do have all of these characteristics. They definitely can be a successful business owner. Shondell Newsom, he's also Air Force. One of my clients by the name of Stephanie Ryder, she was in the Air Force as well. And I mean, I'm telling you, these people, they amaze me all the time. All the time. I commend you guys. Richard Jack from Gentlemen by Choice. the way they run their program. It's so structured and it makes sense. So, man, I commend y'all. And I think that most people in the military, when they leave military, they should definitely try to go into entrepreneurship.
Oh, absolutely. I've had the pleasure of meeting and knowing Shondell for quite some time since I've been here. He is a strong leader in this community and a very accomplished businessman. So I always keep my ear to the ground whenever he's speaking and listening to the things that he's talking about and the things he's doing. And you can look just at his accomplishments. He's very well respected within the chamber. He's very well respected within the community, within both chambers, actually, whether it's the urban chamber or the Vegas chamber. I think recently he's spearheading a leadership role with the Super Bowl committee. So, I mean, Shondell Newsom is definitely a gentleman who you always want to get some time with if you can, because he has a lot to teach. So I always like having a few moments with him and chatting with him. I met the gentleman from Gentlemen by Choice, the gentleman you spoke of, over COVID. I was a little dismayed because I thought I just ordered some cigars. I spent quite a bit of money ordering some cigars, and I saw this thing pop up on Facebook about kids needing the space, and I called those guys up and said, "Hey, how do I sponsor? I don't have any kids that can come to this, right? My kid's covered. His home is good. But how do I sponsor some kids?" And I've been out, met with those guys. I know they're both Air Force, both of them former Air Force guys. So good structure. I got the Gentleman by Choice coin. I appreciate that. So that's a great organization. I talk about them all the time. If you ask me, John Ponder's another leader in this community and the work he's doing with Hope for Prisoners. And I think Hope for Prisoners and Gentlemen by Choice, if they haven't met, they should meet, because Gentlemen by Choice is that proactive thing that's keeping our young men, and I think they're expanding an offshoot program to young women on the straight and narrow, and the things that John's doing in case they happen to fall off the path and getting them back on the path is just incredible work. So, if you have that strong connection from the very beginning, we get fewer and fewer people falling off the path.
We definitely got to make that connection. I know, Shondell was on here yesterday, and I don't know if you heard her, but he introduced you for today's episode. So usually I would have you do so, but I don't have an interview for tomorrow. We got a busy day with men's room as well. But if you have an opportunity, go back and listen to the end of the episode. He gave you a great introduction.
I will. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so can you share with us the inspiration behind your venture in the health and wellness space and how it is helping the community?
Sure. So my inspiration is always just living well. I joke with friends of mine. I'm like, listen, I don't hit these workouts and I don't do these things because I'm worried about being healthy and all this other stuff. I'm just trying to live a good life so I can smoke another cigar. The healthier I stay, the more things that I like to do, I can go do. I want to go on vacation well into my golden years, 70s, 80s, 90s, and I want to be able to walk on my own, and I want to be able to dress myself, and I want to have independence and control of my faculties, right? So I make proactive choices early on to say, listen, I'm not that person, and I have nothing against anyone who says, hey, listen, I'm vegan, I work out all the time. They're highly uber focused on that. It's like, no, I stay healthy, but don't put me too close to the cookies because that's going to be a problem for y'all. Ain't going to be nothing left. I smoke cigars, not as many as I'd like because I'm constantly working, but I like to enjoy things. So it's always been important for me to try to remain healthy. I will say there is a certain vanity that I have. I look at guys and I go, I want to make sure my belt line, I'm on the right side of the belt line. I got to keep my belly on the inside. It can't be on the outside of the belt line, right? It matters to me. So there's a few different drivers for it, but I'm definitely focused on what is wellness, right? And so this recent foray with vitamins, minerals, and aminos, I'll tell you, we have red light. And when I was buying it, I bought it because I knew infrared sauna, I knew halo salt therapy, was very familiar with those things. I had some of those treatments. Red light, I was like, it's a red light. I'm not about to spend a bunch of money on a red light. We used to have red light parties in the basement when I was a kid growing up. Red lights are just red lights. I was listening to an audiobook from a gentleman who's an expert in this space, and he talked about the 50 different documented scientific studies on different things red light was good for. And red light, let's not confuse it, because I confused it. It's not just a red light. There's near infrared, there's infrared, it's at certain levels and frequencies. So there's a lot more science to it. It's not just a red bulb. But when you start to get into this and start to understand, hey, these are the things I can be doing on the front end instead of waiting on the back end and going, uh-oh, my blood pressure, my cholesterol, my sugar counts. Now all of a sudden I have to take pharmaceutical pills, and those are for maintenance. And I'm not interested in maintenance. That's not wellness. And usually what I find is those maintenance products end up one begets another. And I'll give you a real quick story. So my blood pressure ranges, always has, it never has been perfect. And I said, well, healthy. I've had the echocardiograms. I've had the stress tests. They're like, well, your heart is perfect. Everything's fine. There's no issues, no problems. Your blood pressure just seems to run a tad high, but it's not hypertense. But we want to give you this pill. So my wife says, listen, please. I've been down this road before. The pill doesn't do anything, right? They tell me it keeps me right where I'm at. Well, I stay right where I'm at without it, but I listened, so I took it. Gave me the wrong thing, by the way. Lisinopril. By the way, this is very important for Black folks. Never, ever, ever, ever let anyone give you lisinopril for high blood pressure. It has already been studied on black folks, and it causes kidney problems. Do not ever let anybody give you lisinopril if you have to take high blood pressure medication. However, they changed it. They said, "Oh, you're right, Mr. Atkins. You were right when you Googled it. Yeah, whatever." So then they gave me the other one, right? And I don't remember the name of it. So, but I said, "Listen, this is making the sexiest part of my body." So I got really nice, skinny ankles. You can see the bone on both sides. It's looking good. That's the skinniest feature I got. They blew them up. They said, "Oh, you're retaining some water. We're going to give you a water pill." Oh, you mean to tell me this pill is causing a new problem, and you're going to give me a pill for the problem this pill is causing? So now I'm going to be on 2 pills. I was like, yeah, we done. So that's why, man, I like to be proactive about what's going on with me. I like to try to keep me as healthy as possible on the front end. Now, I'm not against medicine, and I'm not against, the science, right? If things are out of whack, I get my physical every year. My blood work is done every year. I need to know what my levels are, what's going on. Don't want to, find out way late because I haven't done anything in 10 years. I like to stay proactive, but I try to choose natural processes as much as I possibly can. If this isn't working, the first thing I always say to my doctor is, give me 6 months to try to follow natural remedies, natural solutions. And if we can't solve it or get it in control, then we'll sit back down and we'll talk about the things that, pharmaceutical wise, medicine wise, right? But I at least want to take a crack at it from a natural standpoint. So that's really what got me going in this direction from Orange Theory Fitness. And now we're doing this, with the IVs. And I know for a lot of folks, right, they're like, oh my God, a needle? You can't put a needle in my I'm like, yeah, well, nobody likes to get a needle, trust me. But, they rush you to the hospital when you're dehydrated. They put you on an IV right away. They rush you to the hospital when you have some sort of bacterial infection or whatever's going on, and they get that antibiotic into your system the fastest way possible. It's an IV. So then I look at it and go, well, why wouldn't I want to get vitamins into my system, minerals into my system, amino acids into my system, the building blocks of what my food is made up of what I'm made up of, into my system as fast as possible. So we researched it, and we like the company. We like the way they put the presentation together. We like the way they focus on health and wellness. A lot of folks always tell me, "Oh, that's a hangover thing, man. When I party too much, I'm gonna come see you." And I'm like, We have 17 different lifestyle IVs. We have 4 different health IVs. We have a lot of, I am quick shots. We do a lot more than just, get you recovered from a hangover. You should come see us anyway. So
Definitely. I think, anything unfamiliar to others, people are going to be delayed to try it until you can influence them. You can really educate them on the benefits of it, not just the benefits of it. It has to be affordable to some people as well. How are you educating them on this different form and angle to health?
So, that's an interesting question. I had high ideals. Oh man, every week I was going to post something on LinkedIn, an educational piece. Well, running the business, how it is, right? You've run a business. There's 17 different levers that need to be moved and pulled. And, sometimes you're like, you pull that lever and you're like, I'm going to pull this lever every week till you get 6 levers down and you done forgot you ain't been back to that lever in 3 weeks, right? So I was going to do some education pieces out on LinkedIn. First and foremost, though, I recognized I needed to get a strong team in place, and I'm very proud of the people I have around me. To begin with, day one, only registered nurses provide IVs, IM quick shots at our centers. So the nurses were already licensed, trained professionals. So they didn't need me to educate them. What they needed from me, though, is to make sure that, we keep inventory, that we bring clients through the door, that we get that done. My front desk person, though, finding that key person, that director of first impressions, which is what I, told him, this is who you are. You are the director of first impressions. When the phone rings and you answer it, that's the first thing people hear about us. When people walk through that door, you're the first face they see, the first words out of your mouth, the interaction that they have. You are the director of first impressions. You are not the front desk clerk. Your job is to make sure that people feel properly serviced, treated appropriately, educated if necessary. So when we did our friends and family event to get kicked off, kind of think about it like a restaurant, they do that test run before they open up to the public to make sure the kitchen is on sync and to make sure everything's firing the way it should. A couple days later, we had a client come in. She was a very nice lady, and she left us a review on Yelp, and she gave us 4 stars, not 5 stars. And I tell people all the time, I know we all want 5 stars. I know we do. What we should want, though, is we should want good reviews that help us to grow as businesses. She said, the lady behind the counter, when she was speaking about my wife, was very helpful. She got me the information I was looking for. She gave me everything I needed. She was willing to show me whatever I wanted to see. But it would have been really nice if, like other places I had been, that they had the information on their internet or they had it, in an easy to use book, something that I could go through. So then we created a couple customer books right up front. It shows you all of our protocols. It shows you all of what's in the IVs that we have. Of course, our price list is there, maximum daily allowances, how much of the vitamins can you get in a day? What can go in the boosters? What's in our vitamin D protocol? Constantly educating people about vitamin D. I hear people tell me, oh yeah, I was at a place, I got a vitamin D IV. You cannot get a vitamin D IV. It's not even something that can happen. Vitamin D is fat soluble, not water soluble. It has to be done as an injection. You're getting calcium citrate if you're getting an IV, and they're calling it a vitamin D IV. It's not vitamin D. To get true vitamin D, you have to get it as an injection because it's fat soluble. These are things that we pride ourselves on educating our clients about and telling them about. So that's one of the things we do at the actual center and site. I need to do more work, though. I need to get out on more podcasts like this, more places to talk to people, just in general about the overall health and wellness of what this is. One of our competitors is a nurse or a nurse practitioner, and I know she does videos every so often. So she's an independent. My nurses, they're not eager to jump on camera and do these type of things. So they're not the business owner either. She is the business owner. I've learned a couple things from watching her side, her education she's a urban chamber member as well. So I've learned some things watching her videos, proactive. I have my corporate side. So Health Shots Entertainment Inc. ENT Inc. is the corporate company that bought the licenses for the Drip Bar. We'll be doing other things beyond just the Drip Bar. Right now, I'm the face of the spot, and I'm kind of cautious about how I do that because I am not a medical professional, right? I'm a sales and sales leadership expert, and I've worked in the technical space for quite some time. So I'm very careful about what I do. But because I research things the way I do, I've delivered quite a bit of information. And because for years of selling, people tend to pay attention to me. Sometimes more than my nurse. I have to be like, whoa, let's stop. Ask my nurse. That's the medical professional. They're gonna give you the real information. I'm just giving you the stuff I read, right? I may say it with authority, I may say it with conviction, so that gets people tied in. But at the end of the day, I'm always about talk to the medical professional, the licensed professional, people who have been doing this for quite some time. I'm just reading information. They've been practicing this for a while. I lost your audio there for a second. Are you muted?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Okay, there we go.
All right. I was saying, I also seen somewhere on Facebook, it was a flyer that came by, and it said that Twix was like co-hosting an event there at Drip Bar.
So I went to Robert Taylor and said, hey, listen, you are a promotions expert, right? And I'm trying to get more traffic through my doors. And I need to talk to people like yourself who know how to promote things, who know how to get people moved into organizations, who move people to places. And so I met with him and one of his marketing partners, and they're putting on an event this Saturday for me, actually. So he's been marketing and promoting it. As you well know, I guess I grew up because my mother was very adamant about never using nicknames on people. So I just always refer to him as Robert Taylor, but I'm gonna break down and call him Twix today because promoter extraordinaire. So they're in the process of doing an event this Saturday for me, and I'm very excited about what's going to come from this. We're going to be doing other things too, not necessarily. I may do some more stuff with Robert's organization, but in general, we're going to be doing pop-ups with food meal prep companies, microgreen grower. There's a microgreen grower right here in North Las Vegas. And I'm going to be having a conversation with her. I wish I would have met her when I was running for mayor, because I spoke about that's some of the things light industrial can do. People complain about, warehouses. They're not warehouses. They're light industrial facilities. They're great commercial real estate facilities. What we attract in them is what matters more than anything. And we attracted quite a bit of pick-pack warehousing, and we're starting to attract other industries now. Which is a great thing, because diversity is always a wonderful thing for an economy. But anyway, yeah, Robert Taylor is throwing this event, and I'm excited to see what he's going to pull off. I've talked to a lot of folks. A lot of folks have said nothing but great things about some of the productions that he's done. I've seen his resume of work, his body of work. He's done some very big productions. So I'm super excited to have a professional like Robert Taylor doing an event for me.
Yeah, I love seeing us come together on projects. I just love seeing us work with one another. And, we all bring something special to this community, and for us to be able to come together and bring those things to each other's niche crowd, customer base, I think it brings more value and is great representation for our unity. So I commend you and Robert for coming together on that. What's your overall vision when it comes to business? Oh, go ahead. You're going to comment. You can comment on that.
Yeah, no, he's a great cat. I mean, that's another good thing that came out of running for office for me, was I got to meet a really solid cat. He's just a good person, good business owner, good man about the community. A lot of great things came out of running for office. Relationships, like having the chance to meet Robert and making that connection. So It's an exciting thing, and I agree with you. It is nice when we can come together and connect with solid business owners, solid people, and do some things together. It's exciting.
Yeah, man. Great seeing y'all brothers do that. So Nathan, tell me this: what's your overall vision when it comes to your business?
So the biggest vision was to have multiple locations up and running. I think that we're still going to achieve that. I'm not sure it's going to be the way in which I penned it, right? So when I put the pen to paper at the beginning, I had this vision, and now that I'm 8 months into doing it, right, a lot of lessons learned. There may be some different approaches I take. I think there's better strategic ways in which to get my second, third locations, and I may even take my license so one of the things I want to say is what people should really understand is when they think about a franchise, they think about a physical thing, right? And what they don't understand is they purchased a license to run a brand, whether it's opening a brick and mortar or whether it's a from home business or whatever it is. You've purchased a license under that brand to operate. And so I purchased several licenses, and how I choose to operate those licenses can vary. And we don't really think that through a lot of times. We think, oh, I got to open up another one and another one and another one. And I don't. There might be other people out there who want to open up one of these. And maybe the best thing for me to do is allow them the opportunity to open it and take a minor partnership in it, but use my original space as the training ground for them to get that up and off the ground faster, right? Because I've already paved the path for it to happen. I may open a secondary place or a third place, and I may do them as satellites, or I may do them in conjunction with other businesses. The way this whole brand came about was the nurse practitioner who created this brand. Her husband is a doctor of osteopathic medicine. She created the IV center inside of his practice, and they saw such success from it that they then went out and rented a retail space and opened up a second retail facility and started promoting it from a retail business. And they saw such success from that they opened a third place, and then they knew they were on to something, and then they started creating the franchise brand. So you have to be creative. And the CEO who's running it now, he's co-located one of the locations inside of a fitness center, a thing called Fit Factory out in Massachusetts, where they're from. So there's a lot of different ways in which to do this thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be a big retail center like the one I have with all the bells and whistles again. And it may not be that when I do the second or third one.
Well, we're going to say that for when we do the commerce first show, we talk about the business and the strategies. I was about to go all into the business. Can you speak on the importance of educating and empowering the community on health and wellness and how it can improve their quality of life?
So absolutely. A lot of folks, let's start with men. Men in general have been given this stereotype of not being willing to go to the doctor. Black men have been given the burden of that stereotype as being even more difficult and less willing to go to the doctor. Now, Black people as a whole have a slight mistrust of the medical system. We have some history that gives us pause. And a lot of times we talk about the Tuskegee Project. Tuskegee Project is a light one. There was something that happened in late 90s, early 2000s, just in LA, where there were some young Black children that were being given a vaccine, and some concerns and issues around that. So, it's just like when people talk about slavery. We don't need to go way back there. Things continue to cause pause and doubt for folks, right? Doesn't mean the entire system is broken. So I think it's important that people as a whole need to keep themselves educated about wellness. Vitamins are a critical part of who we are. So people are quick to go out and go to GNC and get a vitamin, go to Walgreens and buy a vitamin, right? They have no clue, though, that those vitamins have about a 10 to 30% absorption rate. They have no clue that those vitamins may or may not have quality ingredients in them. They don't understand that things like IM quick shots and IVs exist that could get them more quality, as well as getting better absorption into their system. So it's important to educate about the value of minerals. Things like magnesium and the value of magnesium. Magnesium helps you sleep better. Magnesium can help reduce headaches. Magnesium is constantly being burned out of the body for those of us that like to go work out quite a bit. So as we sweat and perspire and burn it off, we're burning out a lot of magnesium. We need that magnesium. Magnesium helps us from cramping. There's a variety of different things. So education is critical. Education is a key component. And I definitely want to do everything I can to educate the community as a whole. And when I say as a whole, yes, I'm talking about the Black community. A lot of times the Black community is left out, whether incidental or intentional, doesn't really matter. They seem to be last to get on the train for some of the good stuff that goes on. And I want to make sure, I reached out to, I know you know Devin. He's also, a marketer and promoter, and we talk quite frequently. And I want to make sure that I work with folks that can help me get this information out, because when the good information comes out, I want to make sure we get it as quickly as everybody else.
Yeah, we need to get you a podcast or something, man. We need to get this information out there on a steady basis. Workshop, something. We need some type of education.
So there's some good people out there doing some good work. You got, I think it's the Minority Wellness Consultants. They have a radio show.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Lisa Howard. I think she's tied to that group. So they're putting out some powerful information. So there's quite a few folks out there putting out some information. I definitely love to see us all kind of link together and build a stronger group so we can get it out to more and more and more people. But we definitely have some folks out there putting out some information and keeping the community informed. And and I know when it comes to AIDS awareness, a lot of folks are out there making sure that the Black community is still staying educated and informed, right? Kind of died down. People, it's kind of gone away. No, it's still a real thing and it's out there. And I know there's a lot of folks out there carrying the torch and making sure that people are protected, because that is some serious stuff.
Yes, sir. What advice would you give young entrepreneurs who want to create history and impact their community?
Get started.
That's right.
Get started. Listen, the road is long. The road is hard. The road is scary. Right? Get started. Everything you think you know, you don't. Everything you thought you knew, you don't. You just got to get started. You won't always win. No one can promise you're going to win, right? We're still facing our challenges and getting stuff done. I just was in a better position this time around. We were better capitalized, so we can run the marathon a lot better than we could when we did the Orange Theory. We needed to run a sprint when we were opening the Orange Theory. So getting that cash out as early as I did, I took it quickly because I wasn't as ready to run the marathon. I don't know. I would take a check right now because I'm ready for the marathon. Get ready for the marathon if you can. But if you can't, get started. Just be smart, right? If you can't run the marathon, be very diligent about how you invest and what you invest in. You can do a lot of things from home. You can do a lot of things online. You can do a lot of things on a shoestring budget. You don't have to go out here and start spending a bunch of money. Start using your brain power. Use creativity. Talk to your sphere of influence, your network, your circle, your friends. And if your network and circle of friends aren't getting you or giving you what you need, don't be afraid to go meet new people who are moving in the direction you're moving in. People like, I don't want to be that person. You don't have to leave your friends behind. I got friends that are significantly more successful than me. And we meet up when we can meet up, and we have cigars and we drink and we talk. And I never feel left out because they're moving further faster than me. Never. And we're still great friends, and we'll always be great friends. I wouldn't want to be the boat anchor holding them back. But irrespective of that, never worry about what other people think. That's none of your business. Don't worry about what other people think about you. They're going to always have opinions. They're going to always have thoughts. Get started. And when you get started, if you don't have enough people around you doing what you need or sharing the information you need, start getting into those groups. Start knocking on those doors. Start finding those circles. Start sitting at those tables. Bring your pad, bring your paper. Sit quietly. Take notes. A lot to be learned. A lot of solid cats. You mentioned one earlier, right? Shondell Newsom. It's a wealth of information, a wealth of knowledge. I always learn something, whether he recognizes it or not. I always learn something every time I have an interaction with Shondell. So
as intense.
Get started. That's the most important thing I can say is get started, right? A lot of other things go into this, right? Be judicious about, all those things. And, small business development centers. There's businesses like yours that help businesses get developed and learn the tools and things they need. If I'm not mistaken, you have a training course on it.
Sorry.
But all of that doesn't mean anything until you get started, right? And by getting started, I mean get committed. The commitment is like the 12-step program. You have to stand up and you have to announce who and what you are. So nobody can go into recovery. Steps 2 through 12 don't begin until you stand up and say, hi, my name is, and I am an entrepreneur. Steps 2 through 12 then can start. But until you get committed, not because your mama told you to do it, not because your wife wants you to do it, not because your friends think you should do it, you need to get committed. But get started, get committed, and get going.
Yeah, I love it, man. A lot of entrepreneurs, they don't realize the journey that they're going to be going on. And even with me, I think even before I became an entrepreneur, I was way more healthy. I mean, I was in the gym consistently. Now I get it, I got 3 or 4 days. I might get in there. Some weeks it's like 1 or 2 days. Let's speak on how important it is for your health to be up to par when you are an entrepreneur, especially with all the stress that you're going to go through at some point.
So I see a lot of successful entrepreneurs, and a lot of them are very unhealthy, physically unhealthy, right? Because they said, hey, I needed to work 12, 15 hours a day. I needed to work 6, 7 days a week. I needed to put all this in to get the business successful. Okay, well, the business is successful. And success is, here's a very interesting thing. Success is measured in many different ways, right? In general, we like to keep score with money. But that's not necessarily the best way to keep score. But let's just say it. They got the cars, they got the clothes, they got the stuff, right? But they're unhealthy. And I've seen a lot of them then go and do a big transformation. Lose a bunch of weight or get in shape or start getting a personal trainer, start getting a personal chef, start buying all this stuff to get themselves back. And you don't ever get back. You don't ever get back. Sometimes you can damage it to a point you can't get it back. So there has to be a balance, right? We bought a Peloton during COVID because of my wife. I'm cheap. I'm like, we don't need that. We can jog around the block. We can walk around the block. She's like, we're getting the Peloton. Okay, baby, we're getting the Peloton. And I ride that Peloton now a lot. I was in the gym a lot before the business started. Even with working, because I was working, right? I was running for office and I was doing all the stuff to get the business started. Getting the lease, getting the construction, buying the equipment, going on the trainings, doing all that stuff. That's not the same as running the business. When them doors open, it's a lot more work. The job kind of faded out, so I was focused on the business, right? Primary I lost, so I was solely focused on the business. And I'll say this, you have to figure out a way to make time. I'll tell you, for me, Without it, mentally, I'm not functioning properly. I cannot function properly if I don't do 2 to 3 days, 4 days a week. And so I ride my Peloton. I mean, they haven't seen me at the gym in a while. I had lunch with a cat the other day. God bless him. He reached out to me and said, "Hey, I haven't seen you, brother." And I told a friend of mine, I said, you know how good it is to have somebody in life care enough about you to reach out and say, "I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing?" So I'm truly blessed. But yeah, you P90X. Get your P90X. Get your Beachbody workout. I don't care. Do your jumping jacks.
Yeah.
It's all out there.
Get that Peloton though.
Huh? But
that Peloton is no joke, man. That Peloton, man. I love it.
I didn't already pay for that Peloton, so I'm riding that bad boy. I told you I'm cheap, so I'm trying to ride my money's worth out of that Peloton. But
I took a vacation in one of the homes that I was at. They had a Peloton in the gym room, and my goodness, it was like one of the best workouts that I ever had. I mean, it was like 8 of us in there. We was all in competition. I got up to the person in first place that killed us all. I mean, they were gone, but I was like in second place, going back and forth. And that competition was what made me go harder. Like at first, I was just going to try to have fun with this little bike ride. No, I went in there. I was competing.
If you don't turn that leaderboard off, if you leave that leaderboard on, competitive people, they can't ignore it, right?
Not at all.
You gotta compete. So
how long do you ride for?
So it just depends. I take some of the classes sometimes. I generally try to ride for about an hour 15 minutes. I'm riding for a variety of different things, right? So I ride for mileage. My goal is to try to do 26.2 miles. So I try to ride a marathon at least 2-3 times a week. Sometimes I get on though and I try to ride for an hour and I try to stay focused on being consistent. One of the main things I'll say for an entrepreneur is consistency, right? 80% of the game is being consistent. Being at your business with the doors open and ready to serve your customers or ready to do whatever it is you do, day in, day out, consistently, right? So you need that consistency. So sometimes I ride the bike just for that consistency. Can I stay focused and can I stay within a cadence and keep that consistent cadence?
Yeah, that consistency is everything. I had to go put the dog up, man. The dog kept bothering me.
Yeah, but
let me go put this dog up.
I hear you. Hey, listen, it's no joke though, right? Because I'll catch myself, right? Like, yeah, I'm just gonna get on today and I'm just gonna ride. It's gonna be an easy ride. I'm gonna turn the resistance down a little bit, give my knees a break. I'm gonna just push it out, right? I'm gonna just let it happen. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna do the thing. 15, 20 minutes into that hour, and then all of a sudden, before I know it, 22, 25 minutes, and my cadence didn't increase. And all of a sudden, the cadence then picked up some more. And then now all of a sudden, I got to get competitive. Oh, no. Look at the mileage. I can push these miles now. Competitors compete all the time. And so
no matter what.
Getting on and grabbing that harness and going, no, today is the day you get on and you stay within this tolerance right here. You keep your cadence between here and here, and you ride for 1 hour between here and here. And you stay in control and you stay consistent and you stay right where you need to be. Man, that's the hardest thing for me. That is the hardest thing for me, is trying to train myself to know how to keep that pace and stay on that pace, because this is a long journey, right? You don't want to flame out, and you got to train for that. And I find when you train for that, you get your mental right.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Yeah, I don't think how many people realize how much that physical health transfers over to the mental health, and then it's just a healthy lifestyle, right? You just think about, you just value yourself more, and you treat yourself better, and you eat better, and you're aware of the company and your energy around you. So it just raises the stakes on you so much, man. So great point. Can you speak to your vision for the future of the Black community and how you're working towards it?
So I'd say my vision for the Black community is to just be. I think there's been too much pressure for too long, um, and you know, I think Black folks have carried the burden and the baggage for way too long. And what I would love to see is for them to put it down, right? And don't misunderstand me, right? To maintain parity, right? Because we'll never get equality. We'll never be equal. No people are equal. I'll get stuff off the top shelf because I'm tall, but man, my back hurts when I got to reach to the bottom shelf. Short people take care of that. We ain't equal, but we want parity. We want the same opportunities. We want the same chances. We want the same looks. What we do with them will be different. But for my people to put down the burden that they've carried for a long time and just be, and it's hard. It's hard because no matter who you are, people always judge you. You know, when you're tall, you get judged. When you're short, you get judged. If you're Black, if you're white, if you're dark, if you're light, if you got hair, no hair, we judging all kinds of things. What type of town you own, what car you drive. Look at what they're wearing, right? Constantly being judged. And I think what I've seen for a long time is we as Black people have the hardest time letting go of that baggage, right? Know your history. Know your history. You mess around with me, I'll be quick to talk to you about the history of this country, the history of our people, the history of a lot of things, right? So always be learning, right? But put down that excess baggage. Don't worry about whether somebody's going to judge your hair or judge your clothes or judge your eye color. Just relax. Let some of that go and just go out and enjoy life. And you don't have to check everybody all the time, even when they're wrong. Let that bad energy be their energy. Don't let them invade your good space. Learn how to get more of that positive space for yourself, right? People think, I'm not going to let them say that to me. I'm not going to let them talk to me like that. I'm not going to let them treat me like, whoa. Don't buy into that bad energy. Let that stuff go. Let them sit over there by themselves with that. Go enjoy life more. So for me, I'd like to see my Black people let go and enjoy more. I'll give you a quick example. I was talking to a woman the other day and I said to her, I was like, boy, when I come back next life, I'm going to come back as a beautiful woman like you, because pretty women are always, life is easy. Life is easy. And she immediately snapped on me. You trying to tell me life is easy for a Black woman? And I said, sister, you know good and well, white boys, Black boys, all boys are trying to buy you dinner, trying to buy you lunch. Stop it. And that's what I'm talking about right there. Stop it. Let that go. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman, right? You're a beautiful woman. You should be enjoying life. You should be smiling all the time. Everybody's trying to open the door for you. Everybody's trying to talk to you, right? Man, you know how many of us out here standing there, ain't nobody gonna open the door. They looking at you like, can't you open the door your damn self? But for you, they like, oh, let me get that door for you. How you doing that? Talk to you different, treat you different. Start enjoying that. Start appreciating that, right? Let that other stuff go, right? That stuff's gonna be there. Let that go, right? Start enjoying the good things that you have. There's been a lot of positive momentum. And we have to keep that positive momentum in our hearts and in our spirits so we can reverberate it. So young people can see us enjoying life. So young people can see that we aren't as pensive about life. Doesn't mean we don't take care of the business that needs to be taken care of. There are injustices that need to be addressed, and we need to address those, right? But we can address those and we can still show our young people we can still live a positive, happy life. So I try to do my best, always look to the sunny side of the street when I see a situation, right? Instead of seeing a situation and going, no, hold on. Maybe there was something different. You know what? I'm probably tripping. I'm gonna just let it go.
I got you. Yeah, I got you. So we a little bit over an hour. I don't know how much time I had you. I only got 2 questions left for you. This next one is a real good one. You know, the question is how have you seen the black community in Las Vegas grow and change over the years? But before I even say that, I definitely want to acknowledge just how much I've seen it be progressive. When I see people like Senator Horsford, Aaron Ford, Pamela Goins Brown, C.H. Miller, Cedric Creer, Lawrence Weekly, Sandra Douglas, the things that the Raiders have done with the presidency, that we have been progressive. Not just that, it's so much more opportunities that are available for us than ever before. So with that in mind, I would like to ask you that question. How have you seen the black community change and grow over the years?
So I've only been here a short period of time, but in the 10 years I've been here, I've seen it continuously progress. There's a black gentleman, and I'm really bad with names, so you have to forgive me. But he was running the monorail. I think his name was Curtis Miles. He came out and spoke at our Rotary Club, and I was like, interesting. And that moment when he came and spoke, I think this was back around 2014, I started to go, I need to take note, right? People like Michael Crone, CFO for the Raiders. We got the president of the Raiders, we got the CFO for the Raiders. A lot of folks on the financial staff. There are a lot of folks doing things. One of my favorite people, one of the people I met very early on, he was Vice President of Development over at the Las Vegas Economic Global Alliance, Terrence Thornton, who's now the CEO for the Nevada Special Olympics. Right? I watched that individual grow into a strong leadership role within the state of Nevada, not just the city of North Las Vegas, but the state of Nevada. He runs Special Olympics for the state of Nevada, right? It is amazing where we were. We'd be remiss, right? Yolanda King, county manager. I remember when I worked the government accounts for CenturyLink, I was educated about the story that, she was a single mother working in the ticket booth at the airport, worked her way through college, became the CFO for the county, became the county manager. I mean, there were quite a few quiet stories. Now the stories are not necessarily louder, but they're much more public and being told more often, and we're seeing them more frequently, right? Andre Ward, I like Andre Ward. He does a lot of great things in the community. There's another young man, I know he's a vice president over at Barclays Bank. He does a lot of voluntary things in the community as well. So I just see more and more and more folks everywhere I turn, everywhere I look, and it's just exciting.
And I love it. And I'm going to keep it going. I might as well just keep you naming folks while you can. So that's this next portion. I would love to know what community members that you would like to acknowledge, whether they big in leadership, whether it's the Uber driver or whatever, the people who make an impact on your life or that you see constantly inspiring you to want to do better.
Sure. So, the folks I see the person I talk to the most that makes the biggest impact on my life is my mother. She's still alive, so I'm very fortunate.
Okay.
I speak with my mother at least 3-4 times a week. My wife is a strong influence on my life. As you well know, the people closest to you keep you in check. And that's always a good thing, because sometimes, you smell yourself a little bit, like the old folks used to say. The people closest to you remind you who you really are. So, that's definitely a good thing. I've been fortunate. Like I said, Curtis Miles, great example. And I think that is his name. When I saw him speak at the Rotary group when I was in Las Vegas Rotary, the old club, before we went off and started a new club, I reached out to him, and he immediately met with me, and he had coffee with me, and he immediately introduced me to the lady who was running RTC at the time, Tina Quigley, who's now over at Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance. And then Tina Quigley had put me on one of the transportation committees, but that was Curtis, who had taken the time to sit with me, right, and give me some insight about Vegas, because I was very new, 14. I hadn't been here, maybe it was 15. I hadn't been here more than a year or two. So I really appreciated him. Shondell Newsom is another person who has taken lots of time with me very early on, and would speak with me when I was trying to run the Orange Theory franchise, and I would meet him at different venues. Ace Fair, my homeboy from Chicago. So the mayor networking here in the city of Las Vegas. Ace Fair is always a very positive, uplifting brother, and constantly out in these streets working and meeting folks. I mean, there are really too many people to name, so I want to stop here because there's going to be too many folks who, well, how come you didn't call my name out? So a lot of folks out there. So I don't want people to think that those are the only ones, but those are some of the early ones. When I first got here, and I had conversations. Hugh Anderson, he gives the financial report over on NPR. I met him when I was doing Orange Theory Fitness, and he was kind enough to speak with me. And Hugh has held leadership positions over in the Vegas Chamber, especially the government side, doing a lot of things for the Valley. There's a lot of people in Las Vegas that if you reach out to them, they will take some time and they will spend some time with you. It's just a strong community. I know my good buddy Will Edwards, who used to have a late night talk show, now works over at 3 Square, and he's community ambassador role, and he's doing a lot of things over there. And Will's a solid guy. Anytime I need somebody to kick some creative ideas off of, I can always pick up the phone and call Will, and he'll sit down and have coffee with me. So there's just a lot of great folks in this town. Terrence Thornton, I had lunch with him a while back when I was first opening the Drip Bar. And we hadn't chatted in a while. So, there's a plethora of folks out there to reach out and talk to. And of course, now, as you well know, I've got Robert Taylor to chat with because I was fortunate enough to run for office. Senator Spearman, she was very kind to me on the campaign trail as well. Most people don't know this, but Pamela Goings-Brown, our now mayor, before she even said she was going to run, because I needed such a long runway to get started, met with me for lunch because she knows my brother who's here in town, and gave me advice. She gave me information about how to go raise money and how to do all these other things before she even announced she was running. She was very kind and very generous, and even after she ran and I was her opponent or competitor, she was always very kind to me and always gave information and insight. So this is a great town for meeting folks, and there's a lot of folks who really want to help you. You just got to be open, and you've got to be willing to make the first step, right? You can't sit back and wait for them to call you. They don't know you need help. You got to speak up, right? You got to be respectful of their time, right?
Yep.
People ain't gonna drop everything they do, and they got their families and their businesses and their professions and their lives, right? But if you have some appreciation and respect, people will spend some time with you, and they will share their knowledge and information. This has been a great town. It's been very open, very welcoming, and very inviting.
That's right. And I totally agree. Well, I want to commend you. I want to thank you for your interview. I definitely want to thank you for your service and your commitment to health and creating a healthy Las Vegas, North Las Vegas. Also, I want to thank you for your leadership and for you taking risk, because when you take a risk and you show that hey, I gave it my best shot, I gave it my best effort, and I don't mind trying it again at some point. I know where I made my mistakes, and I know where I can get better. So I just commend you for your leadership, and you walking the walk and talking the talk. So usually this is the time where I have the person introduce the next guest. Now tomorrow I don't have an episode that I have scheduled, and the reason why I don't have that episode scheduled is because I plan on being at an event that I feel is very important for all Black men to be at. And you know a little bit about this event, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce it, and we're gonna give Sean Torrey and them some shameless plug in time over here. So this event, you might know what it is, but it is the men's room. Can you see that?
Oh man! So let me tell you, the men's room was on my calendar, and I was so looking forward to being at this event. We had been in the men's circle together over at the boxing referee, Richard Steele, over at his place, and that was a great night. And I saw when this came up, I was like, man, I got this. Let me get this on my schedule. And tonight, one of my best friends is coming in town, and his cousin is in town this weekend for his birthday. So tomorrow night, I'm actually with my folks from Chicago having cigars at the 8 Lounge. And it just broke my heart because I had this, I would have seen you at this event. I had this on my calendar. I was actually willing to shorten my calendar, close my business an hour early, and come to this event. That's how important I think this event really is. It is a great event. It's a space where you can open up. Well, we could talk about what I just talked about earlier, right? Letting that baggage go. This is a spot where you can just come and be. So, man, I'm so sad I'm missing this.
It's all good. So for those that can make it out, we'll be at Dula Gym tomorrow, 6 p.m. That's at 441 East Bonanza Road. And we'll be there from 6 to 8:30. Don't just bring yourself. If you can, bring a brother. We definitely
bring a friend. Bring two friends.
Definitely bring a friend or two.
Oh, man.
All right, Nathan. I'm going to let you close it out. You got any closing words?
Hey, man, this has been the highlight of my deal, right? I saw this was going on, and I was like, I hope Brandon will remember me. I hope he'll pick me. I hope he'll put me on the team. I was like, and when you reached out, I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about, man. This was the show I wanted to be on. So I appreciate you, brother, wholeheartedly. Ever since, I caught up with you, I think you were doing the Toastmasters when I asked you to come speak at the Rotary Club. We've been connected ever since, and it's been a gift to have you as a brother here in the Valley and to constantly be able to connect with you. So my closing words is thank you for having me on your podcast. This is a great thing you're doing. It's extremely important. And these moments that you're documenting, years from now, people are going to look back on this and they're going to talk about it with the same reverence in which they talk about many things that we talk about from a historical perspective. So thank you.
Likewise, I'm glad you see the vision, man. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for you guys who have, stuck with us. We've been here for a nice little hour and 20 minutes, and you guys have been some great guests. So thank you so much. Thank you for those who came in and out, and then for those who didn't watch it, you can catch the replay either on my Facebook page, on the Under the Hood Facebook page, or you can go to YouTube. Go ahead and Google my man's name. It'll pop up. You'll see this episode on YouTube as well. Be all over the place. Nathan, I thank you, brother. You be safe out there. Continue to create Black history in LV. And I look forward to working with you soon.
I'll see you soon, brother.
Yes, sir. Vegas, we love you. You take care.